All right, let's dive in. Today, we're looking at how some seriously smart technology, tech that could be running right on the phone in your pocket, might just help us get out in front of one of the biggest health crises facing the entire planet: diabetes. So let's just start with this number: 422 million. I mean, just let that sink in for a second. According to the World Health Organization, that's how many people around the globe are threatened by diabetes. And here's the really critical part: the vast majority of them live in developing nations, where getting access to advanced healthcare isn't always a given. This quote, it's pulled directly from the research paper we're looking at, and it really doesn't pull any punches. It tells you just how serious this is. Diabetes isn't some temporary bug you get over. It's a lifelong condition that, if you don't manage it, has a slow but very serious impact on your body. And as of right now, there's no cure. And, this isn't a problem that's just sitting still. It's actively getting worse. Just look at this. Between 1980 and 2014, the percentage of adults with diabetes almost doubled. It went from about 4.7% to 8.5%. And all the projections show this trend is just going to keep going up, which makes catching it early more important than ever. So that kind of brings us to the big question, right? What is actually going on inside someone's body when they have diabetes? To really get a handle on the solution we're talking about, we first have to understand the problem itself. At its heart, this is the clinical definition. Diabetes is all about having too much sugar, or what scientists call glucose, just kind of floating around in your blood. But why? Why does that happen, and what makes it so dangerous? Well, before we dig into what breaks, let's take a quick look at how the system is supposed to work. Because our bodies have this really beautiful, efficient way of managing energy, and it all kicks off every single time we eat. Okay, so check it out. It goes like this. You eat something, your body breaks that food down into glucose, and that glucose goes into your bloodstream. That's the signal for your pancreas to release a hormone called insulin. Now, the easiest way to think about insulin is like a key. It travels through your blood to all your body's cells, it unlocks them, and lets that glucose inside so your cells can use it for fuel. It's a perfect system. With diabetes, that whole system just breaks down. There are two main ways it can fail. Either the pancreas isn't making enough of those insulin keys, or the locks on the cells have kind of gotten rusty and the keys just don't work anymore. Either way, the result is the same. The glucose can't get into the cells, so it builds up in the blood, and that's what leads to all the serious health problems. But here's where the whole story pivots. We're moving from the problem to a powerful new way to fight it. We are now bringing artificial intelligence into the ring, using it to spot those invisible warning signs before things get out of hand. So why AI? Well, because machine learning can look at huge amounts of patient data. We're talking blood pressure, age, BMI, all of it, and find these really complex, hidden patterns that a human doctor might just never see. It can spot symptoms that are way too subtle for our eyes, which means it can make much more accurate predictions about who's at risk. Now, this research isn't just about using AI. The truly groundbreaking idea here is where the AI does all its thinking. And honestly, this could be a total game changer for our personal health. So, you've probably heard of cloud computing, right? That's the old way. You would have to send your personal health data to some big, distant server. It's slower, you need an internet connection, and let's be real, it raises some big privacy questions. The new way is called edge computing. This means the AI analysis happens right there on your phone or your smartwatch. It's way faster, it works even if you're offline, and this is the big one. Your super sensitive health data never leaves your device. It stays with you. Which, of course, brings up a pretty obvious question. The AI models that do this kind of work are usually enormous. They need a ton of computing power. So how on earth do you shrink one down so it can run on something as small as your watch? Well, the answer is some really, really clever engineering. The researchers use a whole bunch of techniques to basically make the AI model smaller, faster, and more efficient, but without losing its accuracy. For instance, a technique called quantization is kind of like taking a huge high-definition photo and compressing it into a much smaller JPEG file. It simplifies the math inside the AI model, which shrinks its size down dramatically so it's lean enough to run on a little device. So, what does this all mean when you put it together? When you combine this powerful AI with the privacy and the sheer accessibility of doing it all right there on your own device, you're getting a real glimpse into the future of healthcare. This is the real paradigm shift. For way too long, healthcare, especially for chronic diseases, has been reactive. We wait for symptoms to show up, then we react.
This technology completely flips that script. It lets us be proactive, identifying the risk early on and maybe even stopping the disease before it ever really takes hold.
So I'll just leave you with this thought. We already trust our devices with so much to navigate our cities, to manage our lives. What if that very same device could one day just quietly monitor our health in the background and give us a critical warning about a serious disease before we ever even felt a single symptom? That is the future this kind of research is building, and it could totally transform how we manage our own health.